Okay, hey guys. Today we're going to respond to the Amazing Atheist, who has quite a very dumb take on free speech, while also responding to his own fanboy Kyle Kulinski. And today we're also going to be joined by Rohan Naval, who is basically what like the operator, the editor of like Invictus Media at this point, and ConnorSays. So
Hello.
so like well, guys, I guess we talked before about what you were doing, but like I don't know, do you want to maybe introduce yourselves or like say like what you've been like maybe doing like since the
Yeah,
last time we've met?
yeah. So my name's Rohan Naval, and since the last time we've met, I've got Invictus Media up and running again,
Hmm.
and I hope to be posting more regularly sooner.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I've also I'm Connor, and I've deleted Twitter because it's honestly cancer, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. I am planning on continuing writing some more articles for Invictus as well, but like I've been a bit busy, so yeah, stay tuned. I might write some stuff soon. I have an idea already, so
Okay, great then. So now I
Yeah,
just need
let's get
to.
into the video.
yeah.
Alright, so
Okay.
okay, so now I need to just what share. Okay, share screen. Okay, so okay, so all right, so can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay then. So yeah, I guess we'll resume now.
Cool.
Actually, I might also like send the. Actually, no mind.
I love Kyle Kulinski. He's a sweet boy, and he loves his mama, and he drinks his oat milk. He low key might be banging crystal ball, and his thumbnails lately are those of a man who has given up on life. We support WOM rights. Dope! I too am down with the WOMs. Lately, Kyle's share of attention has been in decline as his audience is siphoned away by more extremist figures with more sycophantic fan bases. In this case, namely Vosh and Jimmy Dore. I know what that's like, of course. I've seen my own numbers decline in recent years as I've floundered to find a new angle since anti SJW videos got co opted by crypto fascists, and the once halfway rational skeptical community has become the polar opposite of rational. Kyle's brand of common sense G shucks populist leftism is no longer what's in vogue. People have abandoned it in favor of far more ostentatious cult of personality figures who, whether it's credible or not, make people feel as if they're in a more radicalized space. Anyway, I'm not here to opine about the state of leftism on YouTube or anywhere else. I'm here to criticize a recent video by Kyle Kulinski, aka Secular Talk. Horrifying poll shows public wants government censorship of internet. I'm linking the video down below in its entirety so you can assess for yourself, the context. But here I'm just going to play a little clip show that kind of delves into the main gist of it.
There's a new poll out from Pew Research. They asked if the government should take steps to restrict false information online. Basically, half the country said yes, the government should restrict false information. 48% of Americans say, quote, the government should take steps to restrict false information online, even if it limits freedom of information. Don't get me wrong, I think misinformation is a colossal problem. I just think you have to also hold on to your principles and your values and effectively the Constitution while you combat it. So the whole job of the media should be to give people news and information and to educate them and to fact the insane conspiracy theories. But part of the problem is mainstream media has blown all of their credibility. So nobody is believed, or very few people are believed when they check the incorrect conspiracy theories and when they check the COVID misinformation. So I mean, this is a disastrous poll. And I mean, just stop and think about it, guys. If the government were to get involved and like restrict information, what would they have done in the lead up to the Iraq war? I'll tell you, they would have banned everybody who was saying Saddam doesn't have weapons of mass destruction and Saddam is not a threat to us and Saddam didn't work with Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden and the war is based on lies. So everybody who was correct would have been banned because the official government position was the incorrect position. So you just can't police this stuff. It's not possible. There is no ministry of truth.
Okay, so, yeah, I guess we've I gone a little overboard, but like already
And-
just like 8 minutes left.
and-
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking of is that there's always going to be like partisanship, right? Who has a monopoly on like what is right and what is wrong, right?
yeah,
Even when it comes to stuff like COVID, for example, if the government says, if let's say I say something, right, maybe that might be misinformation at the time, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, and let's say hypothetically speaking, the government
Hmm.
is wrong about it and saying they're banning me for saying that I said something wrong, for example, right? But it turns out that I was right through whatever means, and the government was wrong hypothetically. So the government has no consequences for being wrong, yet I have a consequence for being wrong. So the point
Yeah.
is, basically the point is the one person should not have a monopoly on all the information. There's no such
Yeah.
thing, because then there's no stakes for you to be wrong. Then you can just like
And moreover, like what we've seen over the last year in relation to government is that once you give the government new abilities, they will never give up that ability. Like we've seen this with lockdowns, for example. We've let them we've let lockdowns persist for 2 weeks, and that's extended to 1.5 years. And the same
Yeah.
principle will apply for speech. And that first it'll be medical misinformation. Then they'll start saying that, probably accurately quoting or making comments about public figures now constitutes as misinformation. So even if you perceive it as a problem, letting the government do it will create more problems than solve them in the long run.
Yeah, like the reason I stopped here is because I virtually at least probably 100% agree with Kyle Kulinski here, like which might surprise some of you, but I've
yeah
kind of like respected like some of Kyle's stances as well, somewhat moderate on a few issues and being like principled on free speech when like both sides usually use free speech for their own ends. The right like
fair enough.
picked up free speech because well it became not only advantageous because if they didn't they'd be like destroyed since because mostly because the left have stopped
Yeah.
And
Institutional power.
Also, one more thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Alex Jones was banned like some years back?
Yeah.
His traffic to his site immediately, and the app on the App Store got a huge amount of like downloads after that. Thing is,
Yeah.
because whenever you like ban someone for these kind of things, people immediately get curious. You're actually drawing more conspiracy theorists when you like ban information, right?
Yeah, you
If like anti-vaxxers
Yeah.
are getting systemically banned,
Hmm.
they're gonna make them think like, oh wow, the government is censoring us. They're hiding something from us. They're only spreading
Yeah.
more conspiracy theory. So it's only a shithole.
Yeah.
The
yeah
best way to like,
Yeah, let's
um,
continue with the video.
sorry.
yeah
Who's going to fact check the fact checkers? Who's going to watch the watchmen? You guys have heard me say this 1,000 times over, but I'm honestly astonished that the numbers are this bad on this question and that it's even worse in left-leaning circles. So listen, I know sometimes I sound like a broken record, but that's on purpose. I need to be a broken record on this stuff because it's just that important. So get out there and tell everybody you know, don't buy this. It's absolute nonsense. Stand by freedom of speech. Stand by the principle of it.
I am very sympathetic to what Kyle is saying here. I consider myself to be a proponent of freedom of speech. However, I believe that people are entitled to their own opinions, not their own facts. If a person wants to say, I don't believe in wearing a mask because it's a violation of my freedom, that is an opinion, and I think it should be protected. If a person wants to say masks are not effective at stopping the spread of COVID-19, that's demonstrably a lie, and they should not be allowed to knowingly propagate it. If a person
that's basically my problem.
Yeah,
Are a lot
this is what I feel is his main argument, and also what I feel is his main flaw in this whole video, which is that like the government instituting standards, and he says this around the subject of science, which
Yeah.
as we've seen over the last year changes from time to time.
Yeah.
So like
change.
Yeah,
and
he has much stronger like arguments later on, but like I guess on the point of like the mask misinformation, like I think we should like let stupid people like you know allow be allowed to say their messages because otherwise we if we don't we might we give power to like stupid people to be in charge of like blocking other people from saying their own speech. So it's the
Exactly.
subjectivity which is the point. There, he does say a few certain words which is key to why he gets this whole thing wrong. But yeah, let's move forward.
Move
And
on.
also,
Says
Yeah.
so like,
COVID-19
can I say something quickly, if that's okay?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So in also the same thing, in a free society, people are also allowed to be wrong, right? That's the
Mhm.
point. You don't always have to be correct. And
Yeah.
people, the thing is, either if people are being demonstrably wrong, which almost every side can be demonstrably wrong, then it's up to responsible people to actually fact check this, right? It doesn't mean you have to
Mhm.
like ban them. You're only giving them more ammunition, right?
Mhm.
If people, if you say something like, if like anti-maskers are getting banned, then the anti-maskers will be like, oh wow, Twitter's in on this, the government's in on this, they're all trying to censor us because they know we're right or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for the swearing, by the way, I didn't mean to.
Okay.
precautions are overly stifling, and I would rather take the risks than conform to these guidelines. That's an opinion and should be protected. If someone wants to say COVID-19 is a hoax, that is a lie, and that should not be allowed. There's no political position that people should be barred from. But whatever your position is, your facts need to be straight.
Okay, so I guess he tries to say you can have that opinion, you can think that opinion, but you can't say that opinion, which it is already like, I already see a lot of problems with that. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
And given the fact that certain political positions may be faced on false facts, you indirectly might be uh, you indirectly might be banning certain political positions. Like take the
yeah,
abortion debate. A large portion of the pro-choice side do not believe life begins at conception when science says that it does. Now, I'd assume that he supports abortion, but
Yes, he does.
if yeah,
Yes,
so
he does.
he does apparently. So unless he takes the view that life begins at conception, under his own logic, we could ban like the whole pro-choice movement because they're postulating like false science about the beginning of human life. So I don't think that he's really thought this through.
And also we could like ban a lot of socialists because they're like wrong on like everything, on like economic issues. So
yep. Oh, and also another key thing he says is like you need to have your own data and evidence to like support your facts. But like, what standard is that judged upon? What if like say you have some uh, you give like, I don't know, a racist argument or like some false thing, but you provide a certain data that quote unquote agrees with you. You have a study that happens to agree with you, because guess what? There are a lot of studies that would agree with either side on a certain issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
yeah.
already like, it doesn't. You can have like, smart studies for like bad ideas, so that already like, kind of neutralizes his point there.
I mean,
Yeah.
this kind of argument can also be used against like left wingers when a conservative says like some bigoted things towards trans people, like trans women aren't women or something. I mean, in some respects they're kind of right, because maybe a trans woman isn't biologically a woman, right? So like,
Yeah.
will the left side be banned because of that? Will leftists get like banned for saying stuff like,
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
saying
they
stuff
haven't
like gender can get their period or whatever nonsense they say?
they haven't really thought like seen how the negative effects could backfire on them, but more of like a political tool to suppress their opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it hasn't really bit them yet, but like it could easily bite them. It could really
Yeah.
bite them in. Yeah.
Unimpeachable. If they aren't, they have no place in the discourse. Facts need to be straight and unimpeachable. And if they aren't, they have no place in the discourse.
Facts need to be straight and unimpeachable. Well, that already like, takes away most people, since they don't like properly like or carefully like, look through the facts or straighten them out. That's And also people are trying to like learn, like, what if like someone makes a mistake? Like, are they going to be like prosecuted? Like someone who's like very young or new into politics, when they start like they're like, looking into like studies, what if they make a mistake? Are they going to be like prosecuted for propagating like bad information when they're very new to this? Like,
And how easy it is to spread propaganda this way, If hypothetically speaking, if a right-wing government gets into power and let's say hires a council of like right-wing people who like judge facts, that means like left-wingers will basically get banned off of every platform, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
This is
Yeah.
you're literally paving way for tyranny so easily, and you're not even realizing it because it does not affect you yet, right? Because a lot of the times they will benefit from this, right?
Yeah.
But then they don't realize the actual consequences they can have. Like a fascist can come in and like misuse this power with so much ease.
Yeah, and moreover, a large portion, like a certain portion of the online left, are call themselves postmodernists in that they believe that there is no objective truth. So how can they believe on one hand that all fact that there are certain facts that should be objective and enforced by the government, but on the other hand that no facts exist. Like
Because
this
they're
makes
they're
this
unprincipled and haven't thought through the logical conclusion of their positions.
Yeah,
Basically, all of
this just tells you that this is more of a political position than a logical or a philosophical position.
yeah, a lot of these guys don't even do their own research. That's the thing. Then they're like saying that, oh,
Yeah.
we should like ban these people.
Okay, let's resume now.
We've seen firsthand the results of rampant misinformation. They are a grave threat to our democratic institutions and to the public trust and to public health and safety. There are valid concerns about who should wield the power to stamp out misinformation. If you give the government the power to stop misinformation, they'll be tempted to use it to censor correct information that just happens to contradict their official narrative. Kyle uses the example of the lies we were told in the lead up to the Iraq War. There are also valid concerns about the epistemological criteria used to determine what is and what is not factual. For instance, one could claim that COVID-19 escaped from a lab in Wuhan, China. One could even claim that it was released intentionally as a bioweapon by the CCP. These claims, while often disputed and typically politically motivated, are not demonstrably false. We do not know precisely the origins of COVID-19. I think that what needs to happen is this.
So this is another key part, quote unquote, demonstrably false. So so it has to be. He basically talks about how these certain facts that have to be like forbidden from being propagated have to be not only demonstrably false, they have to be uncontroversial. Like
Yeah.
he basically says 100% false, like no argument, yada yada. But like, so this is like what we would need to like focus on. And
Like
Okay, Rohan, you want to
Yeah.
go first?
yeah, and once again, he still doesn't set out a standard for what is right and what is wrong. Like he says demonstrably false. But you can prove something. You can prove that something is demonstrably false by saying that, like, take vaccines for example. Certain studies show that natural immunity gained from like naturally getting COVID is stronger than the vaccine. However, however, I would assume that if you were to show him this study, he would say that this proves that vaccines work. And even though I do believe that vaccines work, this is still a very gray area. And these claims are once again subject to time. Like we hypothetically may learn that vaccines are much stronger than they are shown to be now. So
yeah, and
Yeah. And
sorry,
also
go
the
on.
funny thing, he brought up the Wuhan lab theory. Just some months back, the Wuhan lab theory was like ridiculed at and like was like considered very, very grave misinformation. And then
Yeah.
Fauci himself said it that it could have come from a Wuhan lab. I'm not saying that it came from a Wuhan lab 100%. I'm not gonna make I don't know whether it is, but like the point is that what is demonstrably false is it changes over time, right? Everyone was
Yeah.
like the Wuhan lab theory is like this big grave conspiracy theory, but then Fauci himself says it now. So what's happening?
Yeah, and also speaking of like time and long term and vaccines, like what if there are very like harmful and hazardous like long term effects of vaccines that we don't know? Because guess what? We've only been studying vaccines for like 1 or 2 years now, and what if there's an harmful effect like in 5 or 10 years? Like are like the people who like forbid like anti-vax information, like are they like I don't know, like would they get any consequences from like forbidding the information forbidding like anti-vax opinions because they were
Yeah,
proven wrong in the
that's a
end
good
hypothetically.
point in that how they're not only limiting information, but they're limiting knowledge to and the scope of what you're allowed to learn and explore and what you're not allowed to.
Yeah. And also Toaster is here, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, it's a, yeah. I didn't see. Uh, because like my screen is like because I'd have to like show my screen. Actually, I'll add Toasted. Hey Toasted, I
What?
didn't see you
Hey.
there. Sorry, I basically like I can't see the StreamYard because like in order to like show my screen, I'd have to like completely show the full video. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. By the way, about the Rohan lab thing, that's the reason. Like, he claimed that was false, but couple didn't. I'm not sure. I thought it was proven to even be true, but never mind. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I'm saying, but like that sort of thing is the reason. Like he assumed that was completely false. He wanted to censor that thing. So if he got his way, if he got his way, then this would just be censored. We wouldn't have even known the truth of the whole
Yeah.
COVID. What happened with the whole COVID thing?
I think there was a Chinese study which showed that it was from the Wuhan lab, but I can't. Don't quote me on this. I'm speculating. I think there was a Chinese study.
Yeah, because I remember like hearing it on a radio show like that was somewhat for sure that came from a Wuhan lab, but I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything false, but sorry.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Otherwise, Amazing Atheist won't censor us if we say anything false.
Yeah, let's move on with the video.
Yeah.
There needs to be a government administration that is made up entirely of scientists who are appointed to their position based on the merits of their scientific achievement.
Okay. Yeah. This is I think his
La la
much
la la,
more.
la fantasy.
Yeah,
land.
let's finish. Let's let him finish like the idea that he's postulating and then respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
So listen carefully to the next 10 seconds.
I think that what needs to happen is this. There needs to be a government administration that is made up entirely of scientists who are appointed to their position based on the merits of their scientific achievements and not based on their politics.
Okay. So this is key. So he wants to basically have a government administration of scientists like based not on politics but on merit, on their like scientific advancements, which
That's total La La Land fantasy world kind of mentality. You just assuming that people is like by default just be absolutely 100% objective. That's impossible. And not only that, you're literally giving them so much power that they have no consequences of being wrong, right? What is the consequence if this national body gets anything wrong? So what they can? So what's the consequences of getting things wrong?
actually he does talk about certain like consequences later in this video, but I'm not sure if it actually senses scrutiny. But like let's see, what was I going to say? Also, just because like merit doesn't equal morality, just because you like are very skilled and smart in your scientific advancements doesn't mean you have the moral integrity and honesty to actually like fact check properly or censor information that you want. And also like people could like the people in charge of selecting the scientists, that's also key. What if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are secretly like choosing based on like politics or whatever, like ulterior motives and nefarious means over
And
merit?
moreover,
And yeah,
we've seen an element of this, although not exactly throughout history. For example, Galileo, the Catholic Church barred him from speaking because he felt that, I believe it was that the Earth was round. Oh, even though like even though the Catholic Church believed that the Earth was flat, and although like he'll say that like that was on behalf of a religious organization, what's to say that this group of scientists will not be corrupted by some other influence? Like TJ is a guy who talks about money in politics, about how politicians are supposed to make the right decisions, but they're then paid off and then make the wrong decisions.
Also,
Why
Toasted
can't
is
any oh yeah, why can't any of these scientists get paid off by someone and then like start postulating certain positions for money?
yeah.
Yeah.
Toasted, do you have anything to say?
Toasted, he exit by mistake. So can you just add him back?
Oh, sure thing. All right.
Sorry,
Also-
by mistake. I know my computer's like whatever, but yeah. well, what's it called again? Yeah, the thing is like sorry, I hope I'm not starting, but like TJ, like he claims to hate religion stuff like that, but yet, and I'm not saying we should not trust scientists like that. I believe we should trust scientists of stuff like that because they do know their stuff, but like he like makes out to be like scientists are sort of like gods and sort of like these huge things. Like he's basically being something that he hates. Like he hates religion for just trusting whatever a priest says or whatever a rabbi or a imam says blindly. But he's doing the same thing with science. He just says trust the scientists no matter what, even though they could just be as corrupt like politicians and stuff like that. Because in many cases, you know, the CDC, like many of these cases, they're just as corrupt as politicians. To be honest, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not.
And there's no such thing as the science. The science keeps changing. There's no objective science.
Yeah, no,
right?
but it's
One
it's
thing
not.
that can
Sorry.
yeah, go on.
No, and it's not just this. It's, the thing is, left claims to be for science, but it's only science that they agree with. Will they like? How about science with genetics and IQ, or scientists of like pro-life science stuff like that? Like those type of science, the left does like just abandons it. Like genetics and IQ. Not saying that race and IQ is a thing, whatever, but like the study for that, they have like totally. They're so anti it that they like beat up anybody that's like for like just like even discussing the theory. They have like eliminate all funding for IQ and stuff like that. So like they claim to be that we're anti-science, but they're just as anti-science as we are. I think like what's the guy's name? John Stossel made a whole video talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, I might like eat for a few minutes. So I might like put my cell phone silent. I'll tell you when I'm. Oh, great! Someone's. Sorry if you hear that. It's basically just like someone's car, like
Oh,
speaking.
yeah.
Okay, I'll mute myself and then I'll unmute myself at some point. You can tell me when to like stop the video.
Yeah, okay.
The Fact Check Administration, okay? The FCA. The FCA should have the power to determine if any given claim is incontrovertibly false, and if it is so, should they
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, this is the main point. Like incontrovertibly false. Like
Yeah, what's that mean? That's such an objective term. And
Yeah.
let me bring it back to the Wuhan lab thing. Was that incontrovertibly false? Was that at the time? But now Fauci is considering it real. Like, this is such a fairy tale La La Land kind of argument. He just assumes that it'll just work out 100% with no repercussions. He hasn't thought this through enough. He's not thinking practically.
another example is the election denial back in the Trump 2020 election, where like conservatives were basically said that the election was like false, that it was rigged. Like that's controversial. Like even though I assume TJ would want to like censor that since he's become a lot more like lefty now and thinks Trump supporters are like dumb. Like something like the 2020 election debacle, like that wouldn't be censored by TJ Kirk's logic. Like actually, I think like a lot of things are controversial. Like trans issues are controversial. Abortion is controversial. Oh wait, yeah, what he said before about like masks don't work, or that masks don't work. That's very controversial. Like by that logic, he like TJ Kirk can't like censor most things. He might be able to like censor flat Earth, but like who'd want to censor flat Earth?
Okay.
Like what
Yeah,
else do you
and
want
I
to censor?
think that I think everyone knows that like a lot of this push for fact checking and misinformation has come from like the aftermath of like the January 6th riot. But aside from that, there is no huge threat posed by misinformation. And even if there are threats caused by it, like there are laws to deal with it when they infringe on rights and like cause like public damage and whatnot.
Right. No, but by the way, just one thing. Like, should we censor leftists that say like I know we might get Connor angry, but leftists that say like the fetus is not human? That's completely anti-science because science has shown the fetus
I think
is human.
the fetus is human. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pro-choice, but I think the fetus is human.
Right, but
Not
many,
human,
but
I
many,
guess living.
right, but many leftists, many pro-abortion people say the fetus is not human. or
Yeah,
many
that
of
is
them,
just a clump of cells.
yeah,
Yeah.
or many leftists would say that men and women are exactly equal, no difference. Should we censor them because that is very anti-science? But so that's the
What do you
thing
mean?
about,
Do you
well,
mean different or equal?
yeah, all genders are equal. No, yeah, they're the exact same thing.
No, I think he means that there's no difference, like biological
Ah,
difference
right.
between a
Fair.
man and a
Yeah.
woman.
There is difference. I think there's some like behavioral differences as well.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything like women are bad or men are good, whatever. This is like there's some differences in behavior. I think that's been noticed,
But
and
if
I
you
think
did,
they
that would be
attribute about
based.
10%. Huh?
But if you did, that would be based.
Nah, but like I'm just generally
Yeah.
saying
No,
there is like certain like also certain interests and stuff. Like if you look at like studies in like developed countries, you see that, for example, like in developed countries, you see that women take STEM less, even though they're like as capable, because they show that when given a choice in like a developed country where they get to make the choice of what they want to do, they're less likely to choose science. But like in like poorer countries where they have less choices, they're more likely to choose something like science because they have to get like a lot more money. So that's
no, or just like we see, like in like what's it called in the wild, like chimpanzees. There's no social construct or stuff like that. Yet the males act different than the females. But I'm just saying stuff like that. TJ will not want it censored. That's what I'm saying. It's like in a way, it's in a way he's sort of like acting. He's sort of acting no different than these people in communist countries because his whole thing is propaganda. Whatever his side is saying, he won't want to ban. But whatever the right side is saying, he'll want to ban. He's not Ming, but that's the truth. It's sort of like I remember Hunter Avalon speaking. He was like saying like how Gab McInnes deserved to be censored because he said some like whatever stuff that could be hateful or anything like that. But he won't mention his side like Tariq Nasheed or like BLM people that could be racist. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not getting too off topic here.
nah, it's fine.
Yeah. No, we can continue with the vid. I think he has like another point about like certain like rebuttal to certain arguments about the FCA.
Okay. So um. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'll resume.
You're going at a pretty good pace.
Hmm?
No, I was saying we're going at a pretty good pace. So let's continue.
If they find that a claim is both incontrovertibly false and socially deleterious, then they should be.
Socially deleterious. Does he mean like, socially negative impacts?
Yeah, but that's so subjective.
Yeah, that's
How
once
do you know?
Yeah.
again,
Yeah. That's
once
another
again,
key.
like the negative extents of a certain claim depend on the population. So, like, that's once again a very subjective term, whilst he claims to say that this is all about objective facts.
Yeah, and yeah. Also, the key thing is that subjective. Like, a lot of like TJ's, uh, arguments can be defeated by like subjectivity, and so yeah, how someone can misinterpret like what someone's saying as wrong, or yeah, straw manning someone instead to like fit the criteria of misinformation under the scientific council. So yeah, that's also a problem.
And who hires these people, by the way? I'm just wondering. Like, if a Democrat's in power, will Democrats hire like pro-Democrat scientists, or will if a Republican in power, then a Republican will hire pro-Republican scientists? Like, what's the deal here? Does he explain this in the video?
I don't think so, but we'll see.
To stop its spread by any reasonable means. If deleterious, then they should be empowered to stop its spread by any reasonable means. If any reasonable doubt exists that a claim is false,
Reasonable doubt. Everything has the quote unquote reasonable term word is what can be like subjective, which again we mentioned before. I'll continue on.
they should, of course, err on the side of freedom of speech. Whenever the FCA determines that a claim is both false and harmful, which should not be often based on the criteria I've outlined, a full report on the findings of.
So he says like these claims shouldn't be like done that often. So like I don't know. I don't see if it's not being done that often. I don't see how this will be effective or why this is necessary. If it's just going to like do a few claims, how bad or negative could these effects of these claims be if we're only like just going to analyze a few claims? And also people are going to abuse the system and
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just abuse the system and just like file claims on like whatever you don't like personally. These guys literally have power on like free speech. How are they like not corrupt people is like beyond me. And how TJ think that it's not going to go completely catastrophically bad is just beyond me at this point. I can't even. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the
This
thing is, sorry, I'm sorry, but the thing is this is the same logic is using is the same logic that China and other countries that censor people use. That's what I'm just saying. Because you don't think they think they're wrong on something they say. That's all I'm saying. Sorry.
should be made public. We have outlined a full report on the findings of this administration should be made public. The report would detail exactly what evidence led them to rule the claim false and what evidence led them to rule the claim harmful. This way, there is transparency to the process and people can look over the evidence for themselves.
Okay, so I guess let me just repeat that again.
Should be made public. The report would detail exactly what evidence led them to rule the claim false and what evidence led them to rule the claim harmful. This way, there is transparency to the process and people can look over the evidence for themselves.
Okay, I think this is his like best argument. So, and honestly, if you're going to have some sort of like dictatorial scientific council, you need to have, at least minimum have like all the methodology like revealed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And another thing is that yeah, this thing. Take the claim of vaccines, for example. There are certain people who falsely believe that vaccines do not work. And who are they harming? The only people that they're harming are themselves. Now, TJ might bring up the argument saying, "Oh, this might convince other people not to take the vaccine." But that's just certain people being stupid and making stupid decisions. The government cannot protect you from stupidity.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think that he is overstating like what power the government should have in our lives.
And the thing is, TJ is just pretending like, oh wow, it's going to be a few times. It's not going to happen too much. It's going to like work a little bit. But he doesn't understand that. He's not understanding that what he's just outlined, it can literally be anything. Whatever they decide. It's literally up to their wills and fancies that they can just decide what they think is right, what they think is wrong, under some lax thing as objectively wrong or whatever, how socially harmful something is. Right? But these are all such subjective measures, and TJ just doesn't realize that this can just go so horribly wrong. And he's just like, oh wow, I'll just work because whatever. It'll just it's such
Yeah,
a bad way of like thinking. You have to understand like things have to be practical, right? You have to think of like practical policy. You have to like think
And-
this very deeply.
yeah, and I've just like thought of a point. Like, say, on like when the scientists like release their methodologies and reports. What if someone like finds a mistake in this methodology and report, and then the scientists like claim the way that they're either misrepresenting their report, or what they're saying is wrong or lying or somehow misinformation. What if those scientists like fact check the person that's trying to dispute them? What if they also like get onto this like trial and get censored as well?
Yeah. So if you try to fact check their fact check, they can just like persecute you for like trying to fact check their fact check if
Yeah,
their fact check is not 100% correct.
Yeah. Let's move on.
If the FCA is suspected to have abused their power to stifle dissent or for any other reason, as in Kyle's Iraq war hypothetical, then there should be an appeals process whereby a public hearing is held to determine if the body acted incorrectly. The entire thing should be completely transparent. What is the reason to oppose such a system?
But
It's not
even then
practical.
on the like public appeals process, just because like the majority have an opinion doesn't mean it's right. Like the majority could like push falsehoods onto the minority and claim they are true.
Plus, if they're the fact checkers, how are they going to know if that what they're saying is like wrong or like they're abusing their power? They're the fact checkers. They're the one determining what are the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If checks and balances are present, it would be extraordinarily difficult to abuse. If the epistemological safeguards err on the side of freedom.
Okay, maybe in the present day it wouldn't be as hard to abuse, but what if society gets more radicalized? What if in terms of like politics, there starts to be a significant increase support for like say fascism, or maybe majority support for fascism, they can easily abuse, the scientific council. If like there aren't problems within the scientific council, then there will be problems outside of the scientific council that will be enforced upon them, that will allow, abusive system.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
No, you can
No,
continue.
I think he's he's trying to set up another argument for why people might oppose it. So let's hear that and then let's respond.
Yeah.
It should not prevent anything other than demonstrable falsehoods. Freedom of speech should not mean the freedom to spread misinformation. It should mean the freedom to speak whatever opinion you want to, regardless of whether or not it's popular. The only people who should oppose such a system are those who need lies to sell their agenda. I don't particularly think that
get
their
out of
right
here.
to do so is of any particular value to our society.
Anyone who doesn't agree with me wants to lie about the topic. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is an absolutely ridiculous argument. Like this is similar to how like they say that anyone who does not like make pro-vaccine campaigns like throughout their whole Twitter is anti-vax and somehow doesn't want people to take the vaccine. Like it's just like a battle of two extremes for these people. Like they have no nuance, and once again, these are the people who want to censor.
And
Just
it's-
pointing that out.
Yeah, by the
And-
way,
and
these people, sorry, I hope I'm not being too whatever.
No,
sorry.
go on, Toasted.
No, these people are like the people that say, "Oh, we want free speech. Just we don't want hate speech." Well, I hate to break it to you, hate speech is free speech because you're acting like Hitler. You think Hitler did not claim it was for free speech? Says, "Oh, I'm for free speech, and it's not for certain free speech." That is patriotic or stuff like that. So they're no different than the people that they hate. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not going to.
And all we've done is we've basically argued on like practicality. We haven't made like we don't want to lie. We're all like pro-vaccine and stuff. We're not like crazy. None of us are like crazy like anti-maskers or like we believe in like insane conspiracy theories and stuff. We're arguing on the grounds of practicality here. And he's just putting oh, if you don't agree with this, you're probably just a liar. You like to lie about these topics. Oh my god.
Yeah, and like I'm not sure. Amazing Atheist might be a social. He definitely like.
Oh, he's 100% a socialist.
Even if he's not, he's extremely very far left capitalist, if not a socialist.
No,
And
he's
a lot of like his positions would be based on misinformation. So I'd love for him to like see.
He's also joked about killing landlords. By the way, I know I'm going off topic, but like.
Yeah, I've seen the Stephen Michael Davis clip.
Yeah, but one thing about
Look at
Amazing
this!
Atheist-
Look at this absolute galaxy brain take. Promoting violence comes under free speech, but like opposing mainstream narratives doesn't. What an absolute hero we have in front of us.
Galaxy thing.
I need to
think-
clip. Yeah, I need to clip what you just said. And
Yeah, do that. That's a legend.
Yeah. All right, so 7 minutes 42 seconds on that video. So yeah, I have the perfect time to like clip it. All right, let's
Yeah,
watch.
by the way, just one thing I have a question about, like Amazing Atheist.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, up and that, but like him and like many other people in the whole so-called back then, the whole skeptic movement back then that was anti-SJW. Many of them have became socialists, like Shuan Head,
Yeah,
Hunter Avalon, or just left wing. I knew they were not Republican. I knew they were not conservative, but this surprised me how left wing many of them have gone.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
they usually take it from a liberal perspective, but some of them have gone a bit too left. Some of them have stayed their position, but like some of them, the anti-SJW movement has gone from like either people have gone to the right or people have gone too far to the left. But like the nuance that once was there is not there anymore.
yeah,
Like
I
that
think
liberalism.
there was a part of me that thought like the center left anti-SJWs, for example, when they like criticized like racial disparities, like I was wondering where they thought like the source of these disparities were, and I'd argue it was the economic, like the welfare state, and that would like, if they agreed with that, then they would have to like disavow to an extent their economic leftism, but instead they preferred that economic leftism over like being an anti-SJW. So they
Yeah.
decided they didn't have any like valid like reason to think like that we're not in a systemically racist
It was
country.
more of that. It was more of that they saw those people as a bad representation of their side than actually wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like agreeing with like if they thought like logically that like in order for them to be coherent, they would have to like disavow to an extent the welfare state, but they can't. So they force themselves to change. Yeah, I mean, I admit like a lot of like anti-SJWs and conservatives had been like unprincipled, which turned off a lot of like
Yeah.
former anti-SJWs into like more left wing, but it's also because they had some very dumb arguments when it came to race. Like Sean didn't know much about like the black crime stats. I don't think, at least when it came to like police, she actually believes like that there's a problem with policing and the black community. And but yeah, let's
Yeah, I mean,
go
like
on.
the thing I explained to many people in the skeptic former. Now they were originally anti-Black Lives Matter and all these stuff. Now they became pro that movement. I'm sorry.
I think
they-
even Amazing Atheist to be anti-BLM, like the writing and stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing Atheist is definitely pro writing.
I believe he
Yeah,
released a video. He released a video talking about how he loves the riots.
Yeah.
The Dark Conservatarian did a really good video debunking that.
But then he critiques people who are doing Jan 6th. Like, I hate all kinds of writing, but like these people lack so much principle. They're like, oh, Black Lives Matter when they destroy people's businesses. They're like, oh, wow, they're just fighting for racial freedom. But then when people are protesting, when Jan 6 people are also writing, they think they're not accepting. Same way from the other side. The conservatives are like,
But I like that, like how both sides flip. Like this thing when the BLM writing was going on, it was all, oh, these are business owners. They're part of these multinational corporations. They can build up. But apparently, attacking the biggest, most powerful government in the world with the most money, oh, that's a very big crime. And like it is, but they have no ground to stand on when they supported other forms of writing.
But besides for that, I think like people won't mention this, but many of the BLM writers had what's insurrections, state capitals, and stuff like that. Just they won't talk.
Yeah, they did move into some state capitals.
Yeah.
Everyone's a hypocrite. We should all just be based.
Yeah, like AOC, like she's so angry about the whole capital riot. Well, where were you, dum when people were rioting during the BLM riot? You didn't care about it. You didn't care about all those businesses that lost money and stuff like that.
Well, she supported it. She supported it. She's like even like on video saying that this is okay. This is like people are like protesting like racial justice and stuff. Complete.
They were just searching for
elitist
bread.
mentality.
No, they were just searching for bread. So calm down. People needed to eat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, let's move on with the video.
Yeah.
I don't think it represents a freedom that is worth preserving. I don't think that making people play by the rules of reality is a threat to freedom of speech. It doesn't even limit what you're allowed to advocate for. You can still be an anti-vaxxer. You just have to admit that you're doing it out of pure obstinate defiance and nothing factual. You can still choose.
The anti-vaxxers don't know that they're wrong. That's the problem. What's the point of admitting if they don't know what they're admitting
Yeah,
to?
everyone, this is one thing that like people who are getting into politics should know, which is that everyone looks at the same facts and thinks that they're right. Everyone thinks that every new study or every new event validates their political positions. And TJ, like under his proposed FCA, wants to coerce people into thinking that they're wrong. Like the anti-vaxxers, they believe through whatever studies and whatever science, quote science, they believe that they're right, and they should be allowed to believe that they're right, even though we know, like, the majority of people and the majority of scientific evidence opposes them. But there should be no limit on their freedoms. And moreover, he said this is a freedom not preserving.
Yeah,
Like, how can you say that we should only preserve certain freedoms? This is the same argument that like slave owners said. Is that like freedom for black people is not a freedom we want to preserve?
And like TJ is basically saying, oh, you're allowed to have an opinion. You have to admit that your opinion is wrong. Like, dude, what the hell?
Okay, so
not to wear a mask. You just have to admit that that the reason you refuse to protect other people is just because you're an asshole, not because masks are ineffective. You could still protest for
No swearing, TJ Kirk. Not in my stream.
Yeah.
Trump
Yes.
to be reinstated as president. But you have to admit that it's because you just want that and not because the election was stolen.
Again, controversial.
So ridiculous. You're basically saying, well, you can say it, but you have to admit that, oh, I'm not saying I'm wrong. That's like
Yeah.
you can literally justify fascism. Oh yeah, you're allowed to criticize the fascist leader. You just have to pretend like, oh, I'm just wrong about it though. The fascist leader is actually good. He's wrong, but like, oh, I think, but
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, and moreover, another thing, one thing that I want to bring up is that this is all coming in the wake of the 2020 election. However, there's another political party in America that was pushing the notion that Russians stole the American election, and he wasn't saying anything then. So they should like really tell you where his intentions are coming from.
Yeah, the Russian thing is a big deal. Yeah, will the fact checkers think that the Russians stole the election?
Yeah.
Big brain moment right there.
Let's face it, we live in a society where the messy and complicated truth is often beaten up and beaten out by simple and emotionally evocative lies. Truth needs help if it's going to win, so let's give it that leg up. The idea apparently already has popular support. Half the country's on board. Half the country is sick of the lies. Half the country is ready to see the political charlatans and fraudsters get gagged. And to me, that's an encouraging sign that we have not yet completely lost our minds.
Oh my
Would
god.
anybody empowered to stop misinformation?
Does he actually have facts on a poll on this, or is he just saying it? Because I could say anything. I could say that I'm
Oh
able
no,
to fly.
actually, the Kyle Kulinski, like, opened up with a poll, and he said where at least 50% want government censorship of the internet, which is pretty bad. And then Amazing Atheist is responding to Kyle Kulinski's take. But like this is one of the main issues where actually this is the second time I'm defending like Kyle Kulinski, well, to an extent, from insane leftists. The first one, well, I kind of defended him, kind of criticized him, was from like the Young Turks and like Jimmy Dore in my Kyle Kulinski leaves the Young Turks video. This time I'm completely behind like Kyle Kulinski here, and yeah, like before,
way,
like
just- Just because the majority of people say it's okay doesn't mean it's right. Like in the the beginning of America, most people were okay. Like half the country was okay with slavery. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean just because most people are okay, but doesn't mean it's okay. You know, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need massive checks and balances? Of course. Would it need to be extraordinarily transparent and open to public scrutiny? Yes. Would it need to prove the falsehood of a statement beyond any reasonable doubt? Yes. Is it impossible to do so? No. Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
I mean,
my god.
He just says he wants to censor people that say that the Wuhan virus did not come from the lab. He says he wants to make sure it's without a reasonable doubt. Yeah, he holds that this thing is false, even though it was not without a reasonable doubt. But that was false. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not making whatever.
Is he like 12 or something? Like he's just pretending like, oh wow, things was magically La La Land happened, not even thinking like the consequences of these kind of things. He just assumed they all just work. He does not. Is he like not old enough to understand like he's not smart enough to like, understand like the repercussions of these sort of things, or he's just like too politically partisan to think that, oh yeah, nothing will just go wrong here.
Also, I'm going to mute myself to eat for a few minutes. I mean, sorry. Tell me like when to like unpause and pause.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
And I'd like to bring up another point, which is that TJ is an anarchist, which would tell me that he doesn't trust the government much. So, and every government plan, let's not get this wrong, every government plan is proposed in the way that TJ is proposing this FCA. That, there'll be accountability, there'll be checks and balances, and it may restrict your freedoms, but it's for the better good of the people.
I mean,
This will go as well as any other government program has gone, and TJ will like, and TJ should be held accountable, like if this were to be proposed in reality.
No, by the way, I'm not sure if he's still an anarchist anymore because I have a video actually linked where he criticizes Ben Shapiro, and in that thing he says, thank God what's it called, regulation. So I'm not sure if he's an anarchist anymore.
I don't know, man. He loves rights. He's like super lib, right? I don't know. I'm just confused at this point.
Yeah, I
don't know.
believe that like he had like a massive political shift over the last few years.
Yeah, he went from like a liberal to a full-on commie.
Yeah, I think like, and
Yeah.
people like, I hope I'm not getting, people were like saying like, and they still don't, I don't agree that Hunter Avalon is a grifter. I just believe that he's not ill-informed. But people like say, what was the point of him grifting? Which I don't, as I say, I don't believe it. But the thing is, maybe you could say maybe he got pressured into many of the quote-unquote skeptic community that went left. Maybe he sort of got encouraged by them and decided maybe that's the way I should go, to be more in line with his friends. I'm not saying that that's what he did. I'm just, you know, you get what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's continue with the video.
Yep.
Threat to civil liberties, no more than any other power structure, if it's done correctly. So I think Kyle is dead wrong on this. He is arguing principle over practicality. He is arguing mission as
Oh my god. TJ talking about practicalities. Hilarious to me. Utterly.
Wait, and he said he just proved my point. He said this will go as well as any other power structure. However, yeah, exactly. I don't think that he believes that other power structures in the modern society are accountable.
Yeah, he
So
hates
he said
the
that
current.
this.
Yeah, he hates the current power structures. He's skeptical of the current government.
Yeah,
Why are you gonna trust? You know, I mean, I assume he hates Joe Biden because he thinks he's too right wing. Like, they, like you know, doesn't he remember like you know when Joe Biden said something about like anarchists, like we're gonna stop the anarchists, like of course Biden meant like rioters and stuff, but the left,
yeah.
including Sean, had like thought he meant like political group. Like TJ Cook, do you want to entrust this power to the you know moderate Democrats who are always going to be in power at this point? As you can see, they destroyed Bernie, or the Republicans who you hate even more now. Like seriously, are you going to trust them?
Practical. Oh my god. This video
Yeah,
is worse
let's
than I thought it
continue
would
with
be.
the video to see what else he has to say.
Yeah.
if the last 2 years had not happened. His take on this issue, in my view, leads us further down a post-truth rabbit hole where facts and reason no longer matter, and our civilization, our democracy, our freedom will not survive under those conditions. That's my take, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there something I'm just not seeing? Is there something you'd like to add?
I mean, he does want to hear our thoughts because he holds that if we have the wrong thoughts, we should be, you know, put in jail. So,
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but only if your thoughts are my thoughts.
Yeah, I actually
God. This video is
commented
so
on.
bad.
I actually commented my thoughts below. Let's see, is it still? I mean, like, yep. Oh, I got 8 replies. Nice.
Well, I understand that you think the right and conservatives like me are a threat, but it is disappointing how you have sacrificed your free speech because ordinary man inform.
Yeah.
You see the replies are possible?
Yeah, orange man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'll just check it up right now.
Yeah, I guess I can like
Yeah, wait.
show you it later.
And so, to respond to his point, like, once again, he does not consider how this has gone bad in the past and somehow thinks that, oh, this time we'll do it right, which, like,
Oh, like
leads to my
communism.
leads to my final point about this video is that these people claim that they're anti-establishment, but they're not. They're just anti the current establishment because when they have power, they will seize it and they will never give it up. So, like, they're not. You should take any claim of them being anti-establishment very skeptically in the future.
Yep.
Offer up, leave it in the comments section down below, and don't forget to rate and subscribe. My love shines radiant upon you. Peace.
Oh, great. That was. I thought that might have been a bit longer. Like, I don't know. Do you want to watch this? Like,
No,
or
it's
Joe-
fine. So, does anyone have any closing thoughts?
No, it's just super funny. His video. He's arguing that Kyle Kulinski is not being practical. While he's opposing the most impractical, non-thought out solution ever. He's probably thought like he probably thought of it while he was like speaking. He hasn't like thought of it before.
I mean, and one thing that was the funny thing he said, and he said like this thing has not worked usually, but it'll work this time. Same thing with like communism. It hasn't worked this time. As hasn't usually worked, but it will work this time. You feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Bro. It's
Yeah.
all the capitalists' fault. They're the
Yeah.
ones causing all this.
Yeah. By the way, like Toasted,
Tell
how like early is it? Like I assume it's really early, like what, 7 or something, or 8?
It's 8 right now. It's very early, but look, I don't know if it's gotten maybe, but I woke up early today for some reason.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Okay,
this
good.
is a very big issue in like having live streams when like all 4 of us are in 4 different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this is the first time that like I think Toasted like spoke with like Rohan,
Yeah,
which
with
I
us 3 also on the call.
yeah.
yeah, like if we could get like Mikhail, like
Yeah. If
like
Michaela and Pepper could also come, that'd be epic. That'd be the
Yeah.
boy.
but the problem is like it's probably 7 for him now, so he's probably just awake. Which
Yeah.
that's one of the like reasons why I didn't like invite the Americans. I would love for them to be here, but the time around this point is like about them about to like wake up and
Yeah.
Yeah.
like sorry if I thought if you thought I was leaving you guys out. It wasn't intentional. Like this time is like one of the few times like me, Connor and Rohan can like watch. Like we've rarely been able to like get Rohan on stream, so streaming is like scheduling is a
I mean,
mess
me,
between.
Toaster, and Mikhail have made the timings work sometimes. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you could
Yeah.
somehow intermediate it. But it was like morning my time, so like it'd probably be even earlier for Rohan. So
And I was
No.
I was asleep like at 2, like and
yeah.
so
I would say I
Yeah.
could.
So does anyone have closing thoughts before we log off?
Probably not. I guess I don't know. Does anyone else have it?
oh wait, Invictus Media, like plug that in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Invictus
so
Media.
I'll be putting Invictus Media the link. No, I don't. Yeah, just follow my Twitter. It's over here, and I'll be putting a link for the this thing in the
Yeah.
description. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
update
very
your
much.
link.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
update your
I need to
link.
update that. Yeah.
Actually making
Yeah.
an article for that. I mean, I think what's Connor's editing the article that I just made for Invictus Media, so it should be exciting. I hope it's good. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
Yeah, I think like this is a good time where like we can stick to a schedule and do live streams in the future at this rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Like so
Yeah, man. So I
it'll-
think that's it, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I guess yeah, I guess that's it. Will we just see, just be sure?
No malarkey, Jack.
Yeah, now kill me. Okay, so I guess
Yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
okay, so oh yes, Slenderman. The right use the principle of freedom of speech to spread
Oh
their
my
propaganda.
God.
They need to
What?
be suppressed in order to protect innocent minds from reactionary nonsense.
Imagine communists calling other people like like protecting innocent minds from reaction nonsense coming from like communists. It's laughable, to be honest.
And someone smart said the answer to wrong speech is more speech. The fact you have to resort to censorship is implying the foundations of your beliefs are built on sand and cannot stand up to scrutiny or merit. And he's like, nope, it means reactionary nonsense is poison and must be crushed. And he's like, no, that's just blatant authoritarianism.
Authoritarianness.
Yeah,
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Look at the last comment. He says, "Left-wing authoritarianism, authoritarianism is a force for good." Whilst see this, if you
Oh,
take away one thing
God.
from this live stream, it's this: left-wing good, right-wing bad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like-
Oh my
Like,
God.
That's the
like,
thing I
I
like
did-
about.
Oh.
That's the thing that's rich about authoritarians is like left wing and right wing. They believe authoritarianism is good as long as it's when it's on their side. When it's not on their side, the authoritarianism is horrible. You know what I mean?
oh no,
Like,
this is meme worthy. This is meme worthy.
No, this is
It's on this
is
meme.
like a Twitter take right there. A Twitter take right there.
Yeah, but all right. Since he responded to me, this is my meme. I take dibs.
Yes.
Yes. All right. But there's some other like comments like already the ratio 2.6k, 1.6k.
Everyone in the comments
That's-
disagrees with Kyle. I've just noticed. Like nearly
Yeah, I'm
everyone.
surprised the ratio isn't more, but apparently YouTube has like this new feature where if people go and mass dislike a video, they remove the dislikes. So like this
Well-
ratio might secretly be being hidden.
Yeah, it's because of like YouTube Rewind because they didn't want to like embarrass themselves.
All right, so
Yeah.
this guy said, your proposal sounds great, but you missed one crucial variable that's gonna screw everything up.
Yeah.
People.
Once again, like this is
Exactly.
actually a very good point in that this doesn't factor in human error. And this is the same guy who's talking about practicality.
that's the whole point. That's literally the whole point.
There is one legitimate thing, a criticism of Kyle, those bleeping thumbnails, and I
Yeah.
think this really mirrors me with, since like Stephen Michael Davis was the one that showed, apparently was the one that said that someone is making thumbnails for Kyle Kulinski, which actually makes me feel so much better about myself and me making thumbnails for
Yeah.
You make good
stupid
thumbnails.
people.
Yeah,
You
you
make good
actually have
thumbnails.
good thumbnails.
Yeah, your thumbnails are good.
Yeah,
Thanks. And
okay,
I
so-
definitely didn't pay you guys to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I need to go now. So,
Yeah,
like,
same.
should we stop the live stream and plan for one in the future?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, sure thing. So I'll end it now. So I guess thanks guys for coming, and thanks for watching my stream if any of you did. I
mean,
released my
Sorry.
I released my GDP video today, and I'm hopefully going to release an analysis on the minimum corporate tax rate next week. What do you guys want to say?
Oh yeah, just one thing. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't interrupt you. Sorry. No, but I stream like basically every day. So if you guys
Mhm.
want to hop onto the stream, you guys could come on because I'm willing to speak on anything. Just want to entertain people, whatever people want.
Yeah. I'll come maybe.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just put
Yeah,
the
okay.
stream I'm on Discord or something.
Connor, Rohan, what about you guys?
Not
Yeah.
much.
Invictus Media, I think I'll have the link up in the comment section of this live stream so you can check it out there.
Okay, good.
And, yeah. Peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bye.
Sayonara,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye guys, and ending the stream now. Wait.